Hi guys, it's Emily, and today I'm here to bring you another Friday Reads. First of all, happy Valentine's Day from Wednesday. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. I actually got one book for Valentine's Day, which I'm going to show you. One sec. Got Front Page Girls, Women Journalists in American Culture and Fiction, 1880 to 1930, by Jean Marie Lutz. And this is actually a book that my mom had gotten me for Christmas, and then she hid it so well that she totally forgot where it was. And so she eventually found it, and she just saved it for Valentine's Day. So that was really cool that I got a book for Valentine's Day, and I got some candy, and my mom also gave me some flowers that had been left at church. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I had a pretty great Valentine's Day, and I'm looking forward to my new book. So now let's get into what I finished since my last Friday Reads. It's been 2 weeks since I did Friday Reads. Last week, of course, I posted my announcement. And by the way, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to me and commenting on my announcement video. I'm just so excited. I went over 100 subscribers, which is crazy. And I just am so thankful for everybody. And I'm so excited about March Mystery Madness. So yay. But anyway, so I didn't do Friday Reads. And then I was sick, I had a bit of a flu, and now the Olympics are going on, and I love the Olympics, so I haven't been reading that much. So in the past 2 weeks, I've only finished about 4 books, so I'm just going to run through them real quickly. The first book I finished back on, the 3rd, I believe, and that is Just Mercy, A Story of Justice and Redemption by Bryan Stevenson. I've been showing this in my videos for a little bit now, so this is Bryan Stevenson's memoir about working at the Equal Justice Initiative, which he founded, and they work in Alabama to free death row prisoners that they believe have either been falsely imprisoned or their trials were had racism in them in some capacity. Either the jury selection was racist or the judge was racist or things like that. And then he also talks about other parts of justice inequality, such as like children being put in prison for life at 13 years of age when they didn't even kill anyone. They just committed some kind of petty crime. And then there's also a big part of the book is also talking about mental illness in prisons and how mentally ill people are not being given fair trials that take into account their issues. So it was a really great book. I learned a lot. I highly recommend this if you haven't read it, especially if you're interested in, civil rights issues and things like that, because our prison system here in America could definitely use some work. So yeah, really enjoyed this. I then read the second Jane Austen mystery. I'm not going to talk much about this, just to say that Jane is staying in the beach town of Lyme, and then a man is found hung on a gallows, and she is, the smuggling trade is really big in this area, and there is this particular smuggler named the Reverend, whom everybody thinks that had this guy hung, and the Reverend is supposedly Mr. Sidworth, who is a particular favorite of Jane's, so she's out to clear his name and, prove his innocence. So it's just about her quest for his innocence. It's a really fast little read. I read part of this online at work because this is the only Jane Austen mystery that my work has. So it was a really great little mystery, and I'm looking forward to reading the third one during March Mystery Madness. I then read Coming Up for Air by George Orwell. This was my third Orwell book. I previously read Animal Farm and 1984, both in school. This is about George Bowley, and he's an insurance salesman, and he decides that he wants to go back and visit his childhood home. The present day in this book is 1939, but we also see quite a bit of George's childhood and then his World War I duties and things like that. And so he grew up in this really small town called Lower Benchfield, and so he decides to go back there and see how things have changed and see if he can find, his true self again. And then when he's there, a bomb is dropped on the city by accident by the Royal Air Force. That's not a spoiler. That's on the backboard right here. But, so it's just about sort of the futility of wanting to go back to your childhood and the futility of change and how technology, it's making life better, but it's also making life worse. And it's sort of a satire on, all these middle-class suburban people. It was pretty interesting. I don't necessarily recommend it, though. It wasn't, spectacular. It was just fair, but I'm glad I read it. And I read this for the Around the Year challenge. There was a prompt with reading a book about air or with the word air in the title, so I read this. So yeah, this was okay. I then finished The Midnight Assassin by Hollandsworth. I won't say too much about this because I'm planning to do a whole video about the details of this book for March Mystery Madness, but this is just about a serial killer in Austen, Texas in the mid-1800s that was killing servant girls by axing their heads open, which is quite unpleasant, and it's a really fascinating little book. Skip Hollandsworth is an author that I really admire. We went to the same alma mater, and he graduated from the journalism school there, and I started out as a journalism major, and so his picture's on the wall, and in the journalism school hallway, and so I would pass his picture all the time. He's also an executive editor for Texas Monthly, which is one of my favorite magazines. And back when I was a journalism major, my dream was to be the first female editor-in-chief of Texas Monthly. And of course, now I'm going a different route. But I still really love Texas Monthly, and I still really love Skip Hollandsworth. So I was glad to read this, and I'll talk more about this during March Mystery Madness. So look out for that. So that's all I've finished reading in the last 2 weeks. And what am I currently going to be reading, you ask? Well, let's check it out. The first priority this weekend is going to be The Music Shop by Rachel Joyce. I just picked this up at the library. It is a brand new book. It just came in. Rachel Joyce is the author of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, which is one of my all-time favorite books. This book is set in 1998, and as far as I understand, it's about two people who meet in a record shop, and it's about their relationship and what happens to them, and that's all I know about it. I haven't really even read the blurb, but I'm looking forward to this. I love Rachel Joyce's writing, and I hope this will be a new favorite too. So this is my main priority for the weekend. I then still got The Hatred of Poetry by Ben Lerner to read. Still haven't gotten around to this, but again, it's a very short essay about why people hate poetry and assumingly why we should love poetry and things like that. So looking forward to this. I'm sure it'll be a quick little read once I get to it. And then finally, I'm going to be reading The Great Detective, The Amazing Rise and Immortal Life of Sherlock Holmes by Dundas. I want to do another March Mystery Madness video on this, so this is going to be my next priority after those other two. I've been reading about 8 books a month recently, and so if I read these last 3, it'll be 8 books for the month of February, so I think that is pretty reasonable, and then by the time I finish all of these 3 books, it'll probably be time for March Mystery Madness, and I'll be filming my video and doing all that. This is about Sherlock Holmes and his popularity and why he's popular and why he's continued to be so popular. And it sounds like it'll be pretty interesting. It's been on my TBR for a while, so I'm excited to get to it. So that's everything that I have been reading and currently reading. Again, like I said, I'm planning to get ready for March Mystery Madness pretty soon, so those will probably be the only books I read the rest of the month. But you never know, something could come up, or I could get through a lot more books than I expect. But I have been watching a ton of Olympics coverage, so I haven't been reading as much as I would probably normally. So anywho, I hope everybody's having a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.